Is Wildania here? Just so that when she comes in, I'll be like, look at who's late. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna show you a couple of things, and yeah. All right. So first of all, I wanna go over to see how many of you have submitted your response, like to see your response to which project you're going to focus on. Okay, which project option. So let me see how your class is doing. Okay, so I only see like 4 of you uh, who have responded. So let me pop it open. All right. Okay, let me share my screen so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so so it looks like so far Leslie has told me what she's going to focus on. Thank you, Leslie. Yandel has told me what he's going to focus on. Thank you, Yandel. Priscilla has made her choice. Akira has made her choice. Sojakovic made his choice, and he gave me a lot. It looks like Sojakovic basically wrote his introduction paragraph in this response.
Yo
Okay.
no sabía que solo había que decir que elegí montar el tema. Yo pensaba que había que responderle incluso.
Okay, it's fine. Just you can take elements for that. I'm not gonna take off points for that. Although if you did just like copy and paste from Wikipedia, then that's a different problem. Anyway, what was I saying? So we have a lot of people who haven't done this yet, and it's due tomorrow. But I need everyone to listen because I'm gonna ask you like, hey, do you understand what you have to do? Okay, that kind of thing. All right, so I'm gonna look at the participant list. Okay, and if you haven't, and be ready to answer my question. Okay, Alexandra. Alexandra, are you there? Okay, so Alexandra, do you understand what I'm asking you to do? Do you understand about the 5 options? ¿Sí entiendes sobre las 5 opciones? Yes. So you just haven't decided, but you understand how. Okay, so you'll have the answer to me by tomorrow? Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, 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 yes. All right. Thank you, Alexandra. Anthony Almonte, are you there?
Mister, yo no sé cuál es, porque yo no estaba revisando, pero que no sé cuál que yo quiero.
Okay, so nomás es
¿Hasta cuándo tengo?
hasta mañana, pues.
Ay, mi madre.
So, okay, so I'll go over that, okay? So, I'll bring that up. All right, everyone be like, whoa, like, let me see. Oh my gosh, Rolania just showed up. Wow, she's so late. OMG.
No,
Oh,
ya. No, es que
ajá.
tenía problemas con mi internet.
Ajá, yo también. Por eso llego tarde a esta clase. So, Anthony, you there? Anthony. Okay. So the thing is, your class is much bigger than the other class. So I'm thinking like this is going to take a long time. Okay. So I'm just going to have you all like kind of think to yourselves about, okay, I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay. And I'm going to ask you the same questions I asked what I just asked Alexandra, and hopefully you'll understand. Okay. Okay. And I think someone is waiting on me. This thing is not getting bigger. Okay, that sucks. Okay, participants. Who is at the door? Oh, okay. All right. So do you understand how to choose from the options? Okay, yes. And okay, so let me show you. I was typing because it just sounded like I was just doing something random. What are we doing? Good. I'm trying to figure out why only a few of you have answered, giving me your option choices. That's all. So, okay. So this is to everyone who hasn't made a decision yet, okay? Para los que no han, no han contestado, okay? So, first question, la primera pregunta, do you understand how to choose from the 5 options, okay? Todos entienden que tienen que elegir una opción de las 5 que les di, ¿verdad? Yes, okay.
Yes.
So, yes, all right. So if you have a question, please ask it, please. No problem, Sojakovich, okay? All right. So todos, okay, so todos entienden el proceso, right? You all understand that you have to, you basically, I'm asking you to do this. And where is so I'm asking you, you have to open this, you have to go to the project choices, right? And you have to choose one of these 5, right? Todos tienen ese proceso que tienen que elegir una de estas 5 opciones, ¿verdad? No questions there. Ninguna pregunta ahí, ¿verdad? Okay, I don't see anyone asking questions. I don't see a question in the chat. So, okay. Now my next question, okay? Mi próxima cosa. Okay. Do you know how to find the information? Okay, so saben que si no están seguros, tienen que elegir, tienen que buscar en el sitio que le acabo de enseñar, ¿verdad? You understand that you just need to look on the site that I showed you, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, so Djokovic is asking a question. I'll answer it in a second. Okay. So the third question is that do you just need more time? So I think so. If you haven't answered the question, if you haven't told me which option you will do, I think you just need more time. Remember, you have until tomorrow at midnight to tell me your choice. Okay. Tiene hasta mañana a la medianoche para decirme cuál es su opción. Okay. And I just want to know what you're thinking about for your project before you guys go on break, okay? Because I know that all of you will not be doing anything. You're going to be laying on your couches. You're going to be eating, like some of you are going to just be eating magu all day, okay? Some of you are going to have some tamales, okay? You're going to be eating all like food and stuff, and you're not going to be, you're just going to go to sleep on Wednesday night, and you're not going to wake up till January 4th. You're going to go to sleep, okay? So I just want to make sure, I want to know that you've made your choice and like you understand what that means. Okay. No problem. Okay. If you're good, all right, that's fine. I'm just making sure. Okay. That's it. I just want to make sure that the reason you haven't responded is because you forgot you had to do it or you just needed more time. I want to make sure that you didn't respond. The reason you haven't responded is because you don't understand. Okay. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands what they have to do. And that's not the reason why they haven't responded. Okay. So I think one of you had an interesting, one of you said, hey, mister, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which choice to make. Okay. Algunos de ustedes me dijeron que no están seguros cuál opción hacer. Okay. So maybe you find them all interesting. Maybe you find none of them interesting. So I think one of the ways that you can decide, de las maneras que pueden decidir is if you go on each one, I tell you if, at the very bottom, you have something called how to get started. Okay. And I give you an article and a video. I think in each section, there's like some article and there's some video. So my recommendation is maybe watch some of the video en each section, ¿ok? Para cada opción, quizás mi recomendación es que vean los videos o lean el artículo en un artículo en cada para cada pregunta, ¿ok? Para cada opción. Like you'll click on this and you'll start watching this video, okay? Well, you have to wait for the ad to be over first, okay? Like you watch this video, you're like, okay, that seemed interesting. Okay, then you go to option 2. You're like, okay, you want to watch the video. All right. Now the option 2, I'll be honest, this is a whole documentary. Okay. So this is like it's a much longer video. Okay. So it's an actual movie. Okay. It's very interesting. And I think if you're doing option 2, I think this documentary is a good place to get a lot of your information. Okay. So it's a long movie. It's an actual movie, but it's a good place to get a lot of your information for your paragraphs. Okay. But anyway, so that I guess that's my recommendation is if you're not sure which one to choose, actually go to the how to get started section and read an article or watch a video. And that will help you if you whatever you find is most interesting, like when you're watching the video, when you're reading the article, if you think that you feel like, oh, this is interesting, then choose that one. Okay. So es mi recomendación si no saben muy bien cuál hacer, que vayan en la sección que dice How to Get Started, cómo comenzar, que vean ahí, lean el artículo que está ahí o que vean el video ahí y básicamente la opción que se les haga más interesante, pues esa es la que van a elegir. Okay. So if you still aren't sure, you can send me an email and give me maybe 2 choices and I'll tell you which one is probably like good for you to do. Okay. Si no están seguros, me pueden mandar un correo electrónico con sus 2 opciones mejores y después yo les puedo decir cuál creo que sería mejor para que te enfoques. Okay. All right. So that's that. And I think if I'm looking at the PBAT options, I see maybe, okay, I think one person already submitted their choice. They're like, all right, you guys have thought about it and you submitted your choice. Good. Okay. So let me explain some other important things. Voy a explicar otras cosas importantes. Okay. All right. I'm on the wrong one. Okay. So let's look at the Google Classroom. Okay, so you'll see that since the last class, I have put in 4 assignments that are part of the Google Classroom. And basically, these assignments are connected to the project. This is basically what you have to do for the project, okay? So, si están viendo aquí en el Google Classroom, ven aquí que son hay 4 asignaciones nuevas bajo esta categoría de PBAT Project. Y básicamente, estas son las 4 asignaciones que tienen que completar y entregar para que esté completo su proyecto de PBAT. Okay. So let me bring up the website so that I can point out something important. Okay. So if we're looking at, if you look here, it tells you the due dates, right? Te da aquí como para cuando tienen que entregar todo, ¿verdad? So you'll see here the introduction is due January 8th because on the PBAT it says the introduction is due January 8th, right? If you look for the evidence organizer, it says January 8th. That's also, the pieces of evidence, that's the evidence organizer. Okay, so that's why it's due January 8th on the classroom. you see here the supporting meal, the meal paragraph number 1, due January 15th. Same thing here, due January 15th. Okay. And then the meal paragraph number 2, which is like the last part, basically. It's the final part for the project to be complete. It says January 22nd. And right here, it's January 22nd. Okay. Now, I cannot be cannot be flexible with when the entire project is due, okay? Yo no puedo ser muy flexible de cuando tienen que entregar todo el proyecto, okay? El 22 de enero. Tienen que entregar todo el proyecto esa fecha because I need to give my final grades for the whole project, not just the project, but for everything for this semester. I have to give the final grades on, I think it's the Monday after that. So January 25th. Okay. So January 22nd is a Friday. On the Monday after, I have to submit all of my grades. Okay. So it's not, I can't be flexible with the due date. You have to make sure you give me everything by January 22nd. Tienen que estar seguros de que me entreguen todo para el 22 de enero. Okay. So, that's one of the reasons why I gave you these due dates. Una de las razones por la que te di esas fechas de donde tengo que entregar las cosas is because that also gives me time to like get things bit by bit and then grade them so that I'm not grading everything on January 22nd. Okay. So, does that make sense? ¿Tiene sentido eso?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's also helpful to me. Okay. So basically, if you're turning in your everything on the date I'm asking you to, you're helping Mr. Martin be happy because you're giving me the things with enough time for me to read it and to give you things on back. Okay. But if everyone waits to give me all of your work, the introduction, meal paragraph 1, meal paragraph 2, and everyone decides to give it to me on the same day, then that's not a happy Mr. Martin, okay? Si todos deciden entregar todo su trabajo, todas las partes que les pedí el mismo tiempo, el 22 de enero, cuando tengo que entregar mis calificaciones finales el 25, okay? Mr. Martin no está muy feliz. So I think we can all agree that you do not want a not happy Mr. Martin grading your papers, okay? No quieren tener como un profesor Martín que no está feliz dando sus calificaciones para sus proyectos. All right, I saw a chat message or a hand go up. What? Is there a question?
Yo tengo una pregunta.
Yeah, Flor?
¿Cuándo nosotros entramos para atrás? ¿No era una semana?
Okay, yeah. So for everyone who has the same question, you come back on January 4th. Regresan el 4 de enero.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your question. Look at that. Hablando del rey de Roma, el que estoy diciendo aquí, oye, no vayan a entregar todo al último minuto, ¿ok? Porque me hace la vida más difícil a mí. Otro rey de Roma. Ok. Yo diciéndoles que no entreguen todo al último minuto y aquí vienen dos reyes de dos Romas que les gusta entregar todo. Otro rey de Roma. What is going on? Why are three? Okay. So anyway, Flor, do you have another question or is this from before? ¿Otra pregunta, Flor?
Oh, no, porque se me quedó la mano.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's fine. All right. So anyway, let me continue. All right. So so for those of you who want to make sure that you're doing things on time and that things don't get very heavy for you and you don't get all stressed, okay? So para ustedes que quieren asegurarse que no estén haciendo todas las cosas como al último minuto y quieren minimizar su estrés, ¿verdad? Cuando están haciendo sus trabajos, okay, so this is my recommendation to you, okay? So I think that over the break, if you really, really want to be ahead, si quieren de veras hacer más adelante en el juego, tener más ventaja, quiero que completen su párrafo de introducción y también su organizador de evidencia. Okay, if you can do those two things, your introduction paragraph and your evidence organizer, if you can do that during the break, I think that'll make your life a whole lot easier. Okay, si pueden hacer. Well, really, it's not Wi-Fi problems, but you had no problems laughing during my crew class, right, William? Huh. All right. Anyway, so, si pueden hacer esas cosas, ¿verdad? Si pueden completar el párrafo de introducción y también el organizador de evidencia lo pueden completar ya durante el break, se les va a hacer yo pienso que este proyecto se le va a hacer más fácil. Okay? So, that's like a big recommendation. However, if you want to have a more chill and relaxed time during break, then I recommend you complete the introduction paragraph. Okay. Pero si tienen cosas que hacer, no sé, que van a descansar más durante el break, está bien. No les voy a culpar por eso, yo voy a hacer lo mismo. Les voy a decir que mínimo yo creo que lo que pueden hacer durante el break es completar su párrafo de introducción. Okay. If you can do that,
¿Viste?
then you're in an okay position. All right. Si pueden completar durante el break el párrafo de introducción, and it's fine. You're in good shape. Yes, Soljakovic?
Todo hay que entregarlo para el 24.
What?
Enero.
What?
Todo para el 24 de enero. Todo lo de IP va a ser yo para entregar el 24 de enero. ¿Verdad?
¿Dónde sacaste tu 24?
De la fecha que ustedes puso.
¿Para cuándo? ¿Alguien puede ver aquí donde dice fechas? ¿Para cuándo?
20.
Yo le estoy diciendo, come on, Soljakovic, les acabo de decir que no hay nada de flexibilidad para esta fecha, porque tengo que entregar todo para el 25, ¿ok? No es estar entregando nada el 24, ¿ok?
Si no lo digo ahora, mente, le salgo yo el 24.
Okay, all right, fine. I mean, look, to be taken seriously, I might just close down the Google Classroom on the 23rd. I'm like, boom, 23rd, Google Classroom closed. No accepting anything else. Who knows? I might do that. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, Priscilla?
I have a little confusion to the introduction paragraph because I don't know how I look to the information
Okay.
because
well,
I don't know the reliable websites.
Okay. Oh, I don't know why you're thinking about reliable websites for the introduction.
Because
Priscilla,
I'm thinking about the wait.
So Priscilla,
Evidence.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take I'm gonna take a couple more questions, and the last 30 minutes of class, I'm just gonna run a couple of examples with you. Okay. And hopefully that'll make things clear. Okay. So Jacob se olvidó algo. All right. So any other questions about what I've said so far? ¿Algunas otras preguntas de lo que he dicho? ¿Lo que he hablado? Akira, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to give you an example of how to do the introduction paragraph. And then I'll show you how the evidence organizer, how you can do the evidence organizer. Okay. So, let's work together on doing one of the options. So first of all, let's open the introduction paragraph. All right. So all of your introduction paragraphs look pretty basic. It just says follow the instructions for the introduction paragraph for the PBAT topic you have chosen. If you have chosen a topic, read the PBAT details on this website. Okay. So I kept these directions very basic because everyone is going to have different things they have to do for the introduction paragraph because there are 5 different options, correct? So estas direcciones para introducción las dejé muy básicas porque todos ustedes tienen diferentes opciones son cinco diferentes opciones, entonces lo que les voy a exigir para la introducción el párrafo de introducción va a ser diferente dependiendo cuál opción elijan, ¿ok? So, para este ejemplo, for this example, we're going to look at option, let's look at option 5, okay? Let's see. Yeah, let's look at option 5, okay? I think it's just also something that all of you have some information about already because we talked about it in class, so it will make more sense, okay? So how racism influenced decisions during World War II. All right, let's see. So first of all, it might help to copy and paste the questions so you know what to focus on, okay? So, all right, so you know that that's your focus question, okay? All right. And I'm typing that in, and that's really just a note for yourself, okay? So this is just a note you're writing to yourself so till you don't forget. You're like, okay, this is what my project is about. This is what my introduction is going to be talking about, okay? And then on the page, if you go to the project requirements, it has introduction paragraph, okay? And you can just copy this whole thing. Why don't you just, it's probably easier, just copy it and then just paste it here. Just so you have it. Okay, so you know what it has to do. So it says this paragraph introduces the topic. You should discuss all of the following in introduction paragraph. Okay, so it says 1, 2, 3. So these are the 3 things that you have to really talk about in this paragraph. So that's basically it. So once you do all of these things, then this paragraph is finished. Okay. So esas son las 3 cosas en las cuales se tienen que enfocar para este párrafo. Ok, ya cuando completes esas 3 cosas, pues ya terminaste este párrafo. Okay, so let's see. So it's asking for a definition of racism and or prejudice. Okay, so you can start typing racism is, right? Does anyone think they have an idea of what a definition for racism? Do you guys remember the definition I gave you? Or maybe you have a clear one? ¿Alguien tiene alguna definición del racismo? Quizás la que sí. ¿Mm?
Discrimination of a group of people based on their religion, beliefs, skin color, or culture.
Okay, racism is hatred against people based on religion, culture, skin color. What else did you say? Religion, culture, skin color, and religion, culture, skin color, and I'll just put another one. And maybe let's just say a nationality, or nationality, another, or other characters.
The same that I was gonna write.
Or just doing an example, William. Don't worry, you'll still have plenty of opportunities to show like your own knowledge. Okay. Racism. Okay. This can cause discrimination. Discrimination at work, at school, and in public, and in the public. Okay, so that's like maybe something that there you go. It's like you can put more things if you want. You can you can put it in a different way, but this is like an example you can use. This is an example of what you have to do, right? So this part right here, this is to cover this first part. So to make it a little bit more clear, I'm just gonna put this in a different color. I'm gonna highlight it with yellow, just so you know that, hey, this is this first part, okay? And I don't know what just happened. Okay. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing it right now so that it's clear what I'm doing. Okay. All right. Now, the second part is a description of what specific type of racism or prejudice existed in the country or countries you will focus on. Okay, so if we're talking about racism during World War II, which country comes to mind?
Germany.
Germany? Okay. So you can say, for example, in Germany during World War II, I guess also before, you can say before and during World War II, there was racism and prejudice, or I guess you can say it's probably better to say racism and discrimination is maybe a better way to put it. Discrimination against who?
Personas a los judíos.
Okay, against Jewish people. Okay, against Jewish people. Discrimination against Jewish people. And you're gonna give like maybe a little bit of a description of like what the discrimination looked like, just a little bit. Maybe you can say something like the Jewish people. Maybe you can just say like Germans believed Jewish people were inferior and oh, remember this important thing, and they blamed the Jewish people for the problems of their country. Right? And so remember, this is only in Germany, right? So if you wanted to focus on another country, like that's experiencing discrimination, you can do it there. You can explain it here as well. I'm only going to put the Germany example. Just I'm just trying to make an example for you guys. But if you are doing option 5, you can do something. You can focus only on Germany. That's fine. Or if you wanted to focus on a couple of different countries, you can talk about Germany, and you can also talk about the United States. Okay, during the Second World War, there was a lot of examples of racism. Well, it still exists today, obviously, but there were lots of examples of racism in the United States too. So, if you wanted to focus on Germany and the United States, you can choose to do that. Okay, but I'm just going to give you an example of Germany right now. Okay, so I think this is complete. So you're just going to highlight this, and then, okay, we know that that one connects to that one. Okay. And remember, I'm just putting the colors so that you will understand what I'm doing right now. You don't have to put the colors, okay? And the last part is a clear answer and reason provided for this question. How did racism influence decisions made during World War II? Okay, so you would answer the question, racism influenced made during World War II racism influenced, I'll just put many decisions made during World War II. In Germany, Nazis made decisions based on their racism towards Jewish people, such as, all right, and so right here is where you would put like the examples of like what are the decisions that the Nazis made because of their racism. So and what you're going to put here is basically like whatever you put here, this is going to be the focus of your meal paragraphs. Okay. So like, what is something specific that you think that you remember that the Nazis did that was based on racism?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, sure. So for this, remember you're answering the question. The question is, how did racism influence decisions made during World War II? So right here, I guess you want to answer that question. And if you're focusing on what the Nazis did in Germany, then basically you have to give a couple of examples that you're going to focus on in your meal paragraphs. So what is like a specific thing that the Nazis did in Germany that was based on racism? ¿Qué fue como unas decisiones específicas que tomaron los nazis que fue basado en el racismo? Decisiones o acciones que tomaron los nazis. So, does anyone remember what's something that the Nazis did in Germany that was just based on racism? Like basically all of the things that are connected to the Holocaust, those are decisions based on racism, right? So what's something specific that you remember?
Discriminate the people.
Okay, so such as acts of discrimination.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a good answer, William, because because discrimination can be lots of different things. So you keep it sort of general, and it'll allow you to give different examples in the paragraph. So I think saying acts of discrimination, that's good. Oh, good. And as Akira said, such as acts of discrimination and um, what would you say? Forcing them to move into ghettos. And
Quick question.
and they were sent
Like
to concentration camps. All right. So those are some things. Yes, William?
Mr. Martin, quick question. What's ghettos?
Yeah. Oh, the ghettos were in Germany and specifically in Poland. I think it was more common in Poland. The Jewish people, like they were forced into basically these locations that were like generally in, maybe you can say that they were poorer parts of the cities. But they were forced to move into like these apartment buildings that had where they forced families to live together. Like lots of people basically living in one apartment, and it was like poor conditions. And basically at that point, the Nazis were controlling every aspect of their lives. Um, and essentially it was all part of like the Nazis' plan. Like first they discriminated against them, and then they separated those people from other members of society, which is what forcing them into the ghettos was. And after that and then from the ghettos that's where they started to put the Jewish people on the trains and transporting them to concentration camps. So but yeah, but it's if you I know that I sent you guys I had you guys watch Schindler's List. There's a movie that focuses a lot more on how people lived in the ghettos. Um, it's called The Pianist.
A quick question, Mr. Martin. Didn't the Nazi take some of them to do experiments with them?
Yes, they did do that. Yeah. So it wasn't just, to the, yeah, you're right. It wasn't just to deaths, but some Nazi scientists, they did take some of them as prisoners to experiment on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so there you go. So now I would say that this answer, okay, so you put a clear answer to the question. Yeah, sure. That's a good color. Whatever. And there you go. So now you've done all of the things that it said on the page, right? The page said you have to do these things for the introduction paragraph. You've done those things. So basically, that is your introduction paragraph. Now, obviously, when you turn this in, you will not have all of this. Okay, that would be that doesn't make sense. So you're gonna have to, first of all, you have to make sure the colors are away. Um, I just put the colors to help you guys out, remember? So I'm gonna erase that right really quickly. There you go. Of course, I'm gonna erase these items up here. And then put these things together so that it actually looks like a paragraph. Okay, and that's basically it. So I know the introduction paragraph seems pretty short right now. Remember that the way we did it right now as an example, we just did very short sentences. If you wanted to put more details, if you wanted to talk, for example, about World War II, you can talk about World War II just in general. That's fine. Okay. So, por ejemplo, si este párrafo se ve muy corto porque pues básicamente andaba haciendo como unos ejemplos muy cortos para que entendieran. Pero si quisieran hablar un poco en esta introducción sobre la Segunda Guerra Mundial, si tienen como esos intereses, pueden poner eso aquí también, porque eso también conecta con esta introducción. Pero, pero con que estén respondiendo a estas cosas, as long as you are responding to what it says here in the project requirements and introduction paragraph, then you're good. Okay. All right, so that's the introduction paragraph. Okay. Okay, so good question. If you are on the Google Classroom, it tells you the due dates. So right here it says January 8th. So you have to give this to me by January 8th, but you also have to give me the evidence organizer by January 8th. So you're basically doing these two things. Okay. So let's look at the evidence organizer. Okay. So now you'll see here a couple of things. So it says here you need to use this list of reliable web sources. So remember that I'm really only accepting information from these websites, okay? I'm telling you that these are the reliable websites. These are the ones that, I felt I've felt that they're reliable the last few years, and also they, other, like when they do those tests for reliability, they come up as pretty reliable as well. So here you have a list of news organizations that are reliable. So please only use these. And you also have a list of different museums or historical websites that I also believe are reliable. So please use these. Okay. And here's a quick note. If you are focusing on anything connected to the Holocaust for your project, si van a estar enfocándose en cualquier cosa relacionado con el Holocausto para su proyecto, I recommend definitely using this museum as a resource, as a reliable source, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. So if I guess I can just highlight it, right? And then you guys will all be able to see the highlight, right? Oh, well, I can't do it here because this is a student copy. Give me 1 second. I'll just do it on the other side. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, there. I put it in yellow. I think that'll make it really clear. Okay, so I recommend using that one, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. I think it's a pretty good site. And for the remember when I had you do the project, the little presentation about the person who lived during the Holocaust. Um, this all that information came from this website. Okay, so it's a pretty good one. All right, so anyway, let's go back to the evidence organizer. All right, so there's two different tables. There's this one for meal paragraph number 1 and this one for meal paragraph number 2. And I think once you complete the introduction paragraph, it'll be, and you thought about what the reasons are, like we said here, we said that this is the main idea behind your paragraphs. You're going to talk about how you're talking about how racism influenced decisions, and you're going to focus on how in Germany they had acts of discrimination. They forced them to move into ghettos and they were sent to concentration camps. So that's what you're going to focus on in your paragraphs. And so if you do this first, it makes it easier for you to do the everything else because you know what you need to look for. Okay. Si completan bien el párrafo de introducción y en especial esta última parte donde tienen que responder a la pregunta en la que se están enfocando, entonces se me hace que eso hace su trabajo mucho más fácil porque ya tienes específicamente en lo que se va a enfocar para sus párrafos meal, ¿ok? So, por ejemplo, aquí, en el ejemplo que construimos, se dice aquí que los nazis, que el racismo influenció muchas decisiones durante la Segunda Guerra Mundial, que en Alemania los nazis hicieron decisiones basadas en el racismo hacia los judíos, por ejemplo, actos de discriminación, cómo fueron forzados a moverse a los guetos y después también cómo fueron mandados a los campos de concentración. So, ahí ya tienes como básicamente todo lo que se va a tratar, sus dos powerful meals. So, what you're going to do then is now you have this information, so you're going to use it, right? So first it's asking you like for your meal paragraph number 1, what's the PBAT question you're focusing on? Okay. Like you already know this. So this one, how racism influenced decisions during World War II. There you go. So you have your answer right there to begin with. Make it a little bigger just to stand out more. And then it's, excuse me. And then it's asking what specific reason you want to focus on. So look at your introduction. You have like these different reasons, right? You talk about the acts of discrimination. You talk about forcing them into ghettos right there. And you also talk about sending them to concentration camps. So I think we can just focus on this part, the acts of discrimination. Okay. So right there, you're going to say what specific reason the Nazis committed acts of discrimination against the Jewish people based on racism. Okay, and there you go. So now you know what you need to focus on in these evidences. Yes, Djokovic?
No, era para decir que yo pensaba que la parte no describe que lo que sucedía, como por ejemplo cuando lo maltrataban, como que ustedes dicen que lo azotaban, cuando yo pienso también que se puede poner en evidencia. O sea,
Bueno,
no,
yo diría que lo que quieres poner en la evidencia, por ejemplo, quizás son como detalles más específicos o quizás como estadísticas, ¿ok? So, por ejemplo, aquí estamos diciendo que lo que te quieres enfocar en este primer párrafo son actos de discriminación, ¿verdad? So, nosotros sabemos que pueden haber como muchos ejemplos de actos de discriminación, ¿verdad? Pero aquí lo que vas a incluir son como cosas que son más detalladas y más específicas conectado con lo que le pasó a los judíos, ¿verdad? Al igual cuando estás haciendo los otros párrafos sobre que los forzaron a moverse a los guetos, pues puedes poner mucho más información sobre eso, puedes poner sobre las condiciones de cómo los trataron, puedes poner cuánta gente vivía solamente en un lugar específico, ¿verdad? Todas esas cosas. Y al igual que cuando pongas información sobre los campos de concentración, es lo mismo. Puedes hablar sobre las condiciones, puedes hablar sobre sobre qué tanta gente fueron evacuadas de las o expulsadas de las ciudades y mandadas a esos campos. Recuerda que la información que estás poniendo es básicamente demostrando cómo es que el racismo influenció las acciones de la gente, ¿verdad? So, en este ejemplo estamos hablando de los nazis, okay, en Alemania. So basically everything you put down, like even if this seems like okay, you're like, oh, I already answered the question. Isn't this what the evidence is? No, I think the evidence, because right here we see like acts of discrimination, right? I think there's a lot of opportunities for you to talk about more specific acts of discrimination. Like, what does that mean? And to give more details and, like, remember that these paragraphs are an opportunity for you to demonstrate that what you've learned and what you know about this topic. So obviously you don't want to just say there were lots of acts of discrimination against the Jewish people. That's very basic and very general. I want you to give me specific examples, and that's where the evidence comes in. William? William?
Are there different topics or no?
What do you mean?
It's just based on like for the middle paragraph. That too, right?
Oh yeah, so there's so this is meal paragraph 1 and meal paragraph 2, right? So it's the same topic. So for example, right here, you're gonna do this. You're just gonna, all right, this is the same question, so copy, paste it here. Yeah, but the specific reason, like it's not going to be the same one. It's not going to be about acts of discrimination, right? You need to look at the thing you already wrote. You're like, oh, look, forcing them into ghettos and they were sent to concentration camps. So you can say Nazis decided to move Jewish people into ghettos and sent them to concentration camps based because of their racist ideologies. Nope, I knew it was spelled incorrectly when I did it. Okay, so now you have it's the same overall topic. You're still talking about racism during World War II, but you're talking about a different examples. Okay. Now, let's do one focus here. Okay. And I'm just gonna, I want to show you an example of how to find the information. Okay. So, what, unless I don't know what's one specific act of discrimination that the Nazis did, before they moved the Jewish people into the ghettos. ¿Qué fue un acto de discriminación que hicieron en contra de en contra de los judíos en Alemania antes de que los movieran a los ghettos? No sé si vieron en un video, no sé si se acuerdan haber leído en un lugar. ¿Qué fue un acto de discriminación específico? Oh, I was just about to just tell you the answer. Let's see something.
Yo no escucho lo que te dijo, ¿no?
Bueno, Anthony dijo que the massacre, Anthony, yo diría que eso es como algo que pasó ya después, ¿ok? Y eso no viene siendo como simplemente discriminación, eso es como algo más, más severo, es algo más, Ese ya es, no es discriminación, ese es genocidio ya. Okay. So I'm asking you, what is an example of a act of discrimination? Un ejemplo de acto de discriminación. So I'm just gonna type it in, and you're like gonna go, oh, okay. So laws against Jews. Okay. So había una cosa que hicieron los nazis es que escribieron leyes en contra de los judíos. Okay. Ese es un acto de discriminación, ¿verdad? All right. And bueno, sí es verdad, Anthony, pero como lo organizamos aquí, eso lo vamos a dar en el segundo párrafo. Ok, en este ejemplo. All right. So, laws against Jews, ¿verdad? So, ahora sí, ya saben que había leyes en contra de los judíos, pero ahora quieren saber como algo específico, ¿verdad? Ese es donde quieren sacar la evidencia. You know that there were laws against the Jewish people that the Nazis made, and now some laws created by the Nazis. So now you're like, okay, this is where you can get more specific information. So I think this is where you go to the reliable website list. I remember you should be using this one because it's talking about the Holocaust. So let's do a Google search based on that. Okay, I think that's a good way to do it. So United States Holocaust Memorial Museum and laws against Jews. Oh, look, boom, the first one, that's what I was thinking about. Nuremberg race laws. And it is the museum, right? So it's already reliable source. Okay, so this is yeah, so here it gives you information about the law. So basically you would read here, you'd read this information and see what you're going to use from here. Now the source would be just the name of the museum. So that, and if you want to get more specific, it gives an article title. So you can put that as well. So you would say something like the name of the evidence is Nuremberg race laws by the Holocaust, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. Okay, and now here I'm asking you to put no more than 2 sentences, okay? So it should just be 2 sentences max. Whatever you're putting, it should be just 2 sentences, okay? So you're gonna read this and like, let's see. I'm reading this fast, okay? Okay, there you go. So, all right. And the last thing you would do here is I'm asking you to start doing basic analysis, which means like, you know, if you tell me how this information connects to this one, to what you said here, how this demonstrates discrimination, you're going to describe, my God, this shows this, this evidence is an example of discrimination because, and you know, and so so when you're finished with this, this is what you have in your hands already. So Djokovic, I'm telling you because I think you asked before. You have the evidence for your meal paragraph. You have here, this is just the analysis, right? The analysis for the meal paragraph. This could be used as the claim. All right. So basically, if you're able to organize this to the evidence organizer, then the meal paragraphs will be very, very easy. Okay, because you have basically all of the information already. All right. So ya si completan este organizador, entonces ya tienen casi todo lo que necesitan para hacer su párrafo meal. Tienen aquí la evidencia, ¿verdad? Tienen aquí el comenzado el análisis para su párrafo meal y también aquí tienen lo que viene siendo el claim del párrafo. ¿Ok? So ya tienen, si completan esto, ya tienen con mucho lo que necesitan para hacer sus párrafo meal. All right. Okay, so it is 12:33. I know that Will Daniel's probably not saying anything yet because she came in later. That's the only reason she hasn't said anything, but I still want to respect her time. Okay, So, all right. So, like to repeat one more time, para repetir una vez más. If if you want to be really, really ready, I recommend that over the break, if you can, to do both the introduction and the evidence organizer, okay? They are both due on January 8th. Si yo recomiendo que si quieren estar muy listos, que hagan, por ejemplo, el párrafo de introducción y el organizador de evidencia, que los dos tienen que traerlos para el 8 de enero, okay? But if you are going to be relaxing a lot and everything during the break, which you should, I'm only really try to have the introduction paragraph complete. Intenta de completar el párrafo de introducción durante el break. Eso es como les va a ayudar mucho también. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. So I recorded what I was talking to you guys about right now. Estaba yo como estoy grabando esta sesión. So what I'm going to do is I'll make sure to upload this video. I'll put it in the Google Classroom. So if you wanted to see how we did the example for the introduction and see how we did the evidence organizer, you can see it there, okay? In the video. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's it.